Okay, and welcome everybody to XLR Tier 1 Round 17 here in Portimao, an incredibly historic coastal city here in the Algarve of Portugal. Sorry, I've actually got a sneeze. Now that's out of the way. Yes, Portimao, a beautiful historic city. Plenty of historic buildings around the coastline in such a quaint and quiet place. But then, right next to it, we've got the roar of racing cars. The power of Formula 1. 1,000 brake horsepower from V6 turbo hybrid engines powering these cars around this beautiful roller coaster of a circuit. Portimao, one of my personal actual favourite circuits. I honestly really enjoy Portimao, and I am incredibly excited to get some league racing around here tonight with XLR, which will be absolutely fantastic. So let's get on with qualifying one. And of course we've got full quali, a bit of an earlier start today due to the fact that we have a real life race at about 8 o'clock, so I have to run as soon as this is done. Straight from my flat to the pub to actually watch the race there. So let's hope we don't have too many safety cars, and let's hope we have no lobby restarts. So if we take a look at who's on a flying lap, Unitos currently on a flyer. Just checking if anyone's closing to finishing a lap. I think, well, here's Pyro actually coming to the line now. He is on the intermediate compound of tyres, which means he will be just as fast as he is on the softs. No, a 22.1. To be fair, that's probably like my hard tyre pace, so rather embarrassing. Power GT, a 17.8 on the medium compound tyre. Remember, this is Q1. Guys are not going to be trying to set the fastest, they're just going to be trying to get through a 17.5. For Teeks, Electro Saunders puts in an 18.6 on the soft compound tyres. Looks like the McLarens will be coming to the line. Neon Wilder on intermediate. In fact, I think we've just seen Fuzzle. Yeah, that's one of the Red Bulls. An 18.4. Good lap from him. We're going to hit to Sweatback Flame, who's on the medium compound tyres, and will actually be setting some sort of lap. 17.8 for him on the medium compound tyres. That's a very, very nice effort from him. Unitos then will come to the line, puts it up into P4. Of course, Neon Wilder on the inters, so we'll consider him irrelevant in this aspect of racing. Giannuzzi also on those intermediate tyres. So we just got to bring up a quick track map of Les Portimao circuits. Oh my goodness. So it's actually very close to the airport of Faro. I think it's maybe about an hour away. Maybe about half an hour away. There's Shakos, qualifying warrior. Yeah, it's about half an hour-ish away from Faro Airport in Portugal, which coincidentally I visited. I did consider going to the circuit, but it was a bit too far away for my liking, and I wasn't exactly about to get scammed out of like a €50 taxi to just go look at some track, even though it is one of my favourite tracks. Oh my goodness, that is... Oh dear. Got a lot of skill issues going on right now. I'm trying to get organised. Trying to actually... Oh, round is Frosted Cheese in the Haas, as he was on a flying lap. He's been sent spinning, and that will not bear well for his Q1 run. Shakos unfortunately invalidating his lap though. A bit unusual for a Shakos to see him with an invalidation. A few drivers actually going to be pulling into the pits now. I think it actually looks like one of the Alphas is on a flyer. That's Giannuzzi just going right round the outside. I think that's Sweatback Flame who was just pulling into the pits himself. Teeks on an in-lap at the moment. Luke the Blade is currently, looks like he is on a bit of an in-lap, perhaps backed off of that lap. Fuzzle actually 2/10 up in that first sector. He is currently coming through 7 and 8 right now. That corner, ironically called Samsung, then coming through here, turn 9, called Craig Jones, turns 10, and then 11, which is right here, called Portimao, before you swing up left into turn 12. Even if he's not on a flyer, it's important to let us discover these corners. Then here we've got 13. And then, oh sorry, that's, sorry, I'm a corner back here. This is turn 15, called Galp. Very interesting corner name. Fuzzle is actually improving, goes up to P6, 3.5 tenths. He's going to struggle with fuel though, I have that feeling of. Frosted Cheese will be recuperating. Ah, you've got tech support here, who is currently on a flyer on the soft compounded tyre. He is through turn 7 at the moment then. And then comes through Samsung into turn 9. You can see one car just ahead of him as you ride on board, dives out of the way as they can't dive through. And Unitos has been disqualified for blocking the pit lane exit. That will not bear well with his qualifying effort as we lose our first driver here in Q1. Jack Arnack, your championship winner on a flyer at the moment. So I think tech support is going to be the next across the line to set a flying lap here. Let's see what tech support can do in that Alfa Romeo car. He comes to the line and that's up to P1 by about 0.3 of a second. Tech support looking like he's got some strong pace around this circuit. Both the Hasses coming to the line now. Jay-Z on an outlap, he's just beginning a flying lap then. Frosted Cheese, I think, is now just beginning a flying lap. But with soft compound tyre, oh, he's invalidated already actually, as they come through turn 1. Sorry, it's very loose on the rear end. Yeah, rather unfortunate end to your session. I think actually this could be Liam Boyd on the medium compound tyres actually setting a representative lap time. Actually no, I think he's just beginning a flying lap, sorry. As there we go, Jack Imac up to P8 only. He's not using ERS. P8 without ERS for Jack Imac. There we go. Shakos on an outlap then, just beginning his flying lap. Looks like Pyro is going to be coming to the line. He's 3.2 seconds up. Let's see where this medium lap can put him. P5. Not actually quite the best of the medium compound tyre runners. Sweatback Flame beating him out there, which is rather peculiar. Pyro is looking pretty strong earlier on. Shakos now setting a purple first sector 22.0. He's looking pretty fast. Frosted Cheese is going to pull into the pit lane. Jay-Z's invalidated his lap, but he's going to be going again now. So plenty of tyres being used out there on the circuit. Liam Boyd will be pulling into the... Actually, no, Liam Boyd is actually up on his time, sorry. Didn't he just begin a flying lap? So Liam will be next across the line to set any sort of representative lap time. He comes round the final corner of turn 15 of Galp. That's going to be an interesting fact to know. Liam Boulder with the McLaren, with the Mercedes power unit to the line, goes up to P1 on the medium compounded tyres. Tech support's actually gone out again. Perhaps he's actually driving the track for perhaps the first time. Shakos, who is on the medium compounded tyres, fresh set, is he going to be able to displace Liam Boulder at the top? He comes to the line. No, he's not. P4 only. But it is on that medium compound, which is critical. It looks like Giannucci's going to be about to say flying lap then. In another Ferrari-powered car, this time a customer team, he goes up to P5 on those medium tyres as well. So I think Pyro just didn't have a particularly good lap. A lot of drivers actually coming out of the way. I think that's actually diving out of the way of Tech Support. That's one of the Mercedes. Well, actually, that is the only Mercedes of Pyro out there on the circuit. Tech Support beautifully touches the apex, gets a little bit squirrely on exit, squirting all of that 1,000 brake horsepower he's got under that right foot, attempting to handle as much of the G-force as his little lad in the car can. Tech support, low on battery. It's going to be a real drive to the line. I reckon he might even end up just pulling into the pit lane here. No, he is actually going to come to the line. Tech support then, DRS on his second attempt, does go fast enough to take that P1 away from Liam Boulder. Looks like a couple of the Aston Martins are going to be coming to the line now. It's going to be Jack Imac, who I'm assuming is going to be pulling into the pit lane. Or no, he's actually going to do a lap when he's using some ERS, so expect some big improvements from him. Electro Saunders also just coming to the line now. Looks like that's going to be Shakos into the pit lane. The Mercedes of Pyro also going to be starting a flying lap now. Luke the Blade also starting a flying lap, so I think we're starting to see a few drivers actually begin their laps again. There's one of the Alfa Romeos. I think that's Giannucci who's going to be pulling into the pits. He looks like he's going a tad slow. Yeah, 9.4 seconds down. not his greatest attempt, let's be completely real here. Fuzzle on an outlap on some soft tyres. He is going to be setting a quick time then. Looks like Jay-Z is going to be next across the line to say representative time, although he's very, very low on fuel. Let's see what he can do as now he comes through to the turn 14, almost 180 degree, quite a short corner, it's actually not a complete hairpin as he comes through Galp now. Yeah, he's pulling into the, he's out of fuel. He's run out of fuel as he drags to the line. He should have just driven straight into the pit lane. Only P15 for Jay-Z. And let's just look at how much time is left on the clock. 5 minutes, and he's got to get around with low fuel mode, driving only 100 miles an hour, and then get back out and do another outlap again. It's going to be tight. Let's look at these Aston Martins now. Jack Imac on some older soft compound tyres goes up to P5. Very good effort from him. Electro Saunders, who honestly isn't placed too badly at the moment. He's got to find 6/10 in order to jump ahead. I think he made a mistake and is just beginning that flying lap now. Luke the Blade, let's see where he can put this Williams. Let's hope he can. Oh yeah, P3, beautiful stuff from him. That's Pyro just pulling into the pit lane. Red Bull that's Petter Flat just beginning an outlap now. Fuzzle is not long behind. Looks like Frosted Cheese just starting a flying lap as well. Sweatback Flame also beginning what will probably be his actual last flying lap of the session. Fuzzle's just been recharging some battery and will be out again shortly. Looks like the mighty currently on a 4/10 improvement. That's going to jump him up to only P13 there. There's quite a large gap up there between the drivers. Round that final corner, now comes Let's see what he can do in the Williams car. P13, 7/10 of a second improvement for him. It's going to be tight for if I'm being completely honest. In fact, Electro Saunders has actually invalidated that lap. Jack Imac will be pulling into the pits now. I'm assuming Jay-Z on his low fuel will probably be pulling into the pit lane. Looks like the Red Bull, I think that's actually Fuzzle that's on a bit of a, no sorry, it's Petter Flat that's on the flyer behind them. He's purple through the middle sector. We didn't quite see the exact time split that he had there, but let's see what sort of time Petter Flat can do here in Q1 as he comes round Galp for this time. I'm not sure he's going to pick up a slipstream as Jay-Z going very slowly. It's almost comical the speed he's going. Petter Flat to the line. P7 is what he can manage. A very valiant effort from him. Sweatback Flame, who'll be looking, I'm assuming, to probably take close to the P1 position to really secure his safety in the session. Sweatback Flame does go to P1 with an 8/10 improvement. So Sweatback Flame then will very much probably be safe. Actually looks like Fuzzle now will be coming to the line. He's very low on his battery, on his fuel, but this is desperate for Fuzzle. He gets up to P5, pushes himself out of the drop zone very comfortably for him. So obviously we've lost Unitos already, but it looks like we might be losing either Electro Saunders, Jay-Z. Electro Saunders and Jay-Z are currently in that drop zone, but is right on the cusp, and with 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go, it's going to be pretty tight for him to get into the pit lane and change those tyres. Zacky's Beast just coming out onto the track again for another flying lap here, which is going to be interesting to see what he's able to manage in that car. Frosted Cheese always on the cusp as well, which is a bit shocking considering that he's an extremely good qualifier around here. So we heard a bit, what I've managed to sort of decipher from what I've been seeing so far is that actually you could probably pull off a soft medium strategy and through some personal, not exactly persevered testing, I did discover that the hards don't really go very well around here. So, that soft medium strategy could be on today, so it's going to be very important to see who saves their tyres, really, around the circuit. So I think we've got Fuzzle going to be pulling into the pit lane now then. That's both McLarens are in. It looks like it's just Electro Saunders in on the track. Jack Imac is he doing some... Well, he's churning up the stones for us. Yeah, I think that's an important thing, Totis. Well, you got disqualified, you're going to have the best tyre selection out of everybody, which is going to be incredibly important, especially if you've got a few safety cars. I mean, Portimao is a circuit where it's very, very common to have wheel-to-wheel racing close to the whole lap. I mean, if you saw the 4 hours of Portimao, it gets pretty crazy around here. So, and that's provided someone doesn't do a tactical early ready up takes the penalty. As here we go, a few cars coming to the line. Jack Imac just lawn mowing. I think he's found possibly the most interesting position to get lawn mowing. I believe Jack Imac should be stripped of his championship for doing what he's doing now. He's going to get disqualified. He's trying to get disqualified, actually. Well, didn't take him long. Sorry, we are getting a bit off track here. So, currently still Electro Saunders, who's on an out lap. I think he's got... So actually, it's only going to be one other driver eliminated here. It's going to be Jay-Z Electro... Jay-Z's out there on the circuit. He's invalidated this lap, so he's got to recharge. And how much time have we got left on the clock? If we get rid of that yellow flag... Bit of racing going on here between and Electro Saunders. Both of these two racing to the line. Electro, he's not... One of them's not backed off early enough. And they're going to be a little bit compromised coming into turn one. We still have no idea how much time. 18 seconds left on the clock. Jay-Z is not going to... Jay-Z could be out here. I think Jay-Z's out. Yeah, Jay-Z's out of qualifying. So everybody else is safe. I don't know how he didn't break his suspension on that. So, well, there we go. Jay-Z out of qualifying. Jack Imac and Unitos both disqualified. And and Electro Saunders through into Q2 along with Zakis Bees, Frosted Cheese, Gianucci, Petaflat, Shakos, Teeks, Fuzzle, Luke the Blade, Pal GT, Liam Welder, Tech Support, Sweatback Flame, and Pyro. Well, a rather interesting Q1 then. Not really representative of anything to us. But, well, let's see what happens as we go through the next part of qualifying then into Q2, and let's see who can make it through. Obviously, we'll be losing 5 drivers from there. Yeah, last the first challenge. You know what? A lot of drivers at this later stage of the season do tend to do those last the first challenges, and well, you can have fun with it. To be honest, Portsmouth's a good track to overtake on, so you know you're not losing much here. Boring Steward, sorry, I'm eating an apple. This apple is actually so good that I can't stop eating it. Boring Steward. Yeah, indeed. They should have let you drive backwards, maybe crashed a few people out. Just all in the day's work, really. So, let's get ready for Q2 then. Where we're going to see the top 10 into that Q3 shootout where pole position will be decided on. Let's see what happens then. Ooh, rain soon. Could get pretty exciting then for Q3 perhaps. I don't know if anyone actually did any wet weather practice. I mean, at this time of the year in the south of Portugal, the Algarve, well, that rain has come sooner than we expected, and this is going to change the session completely. I'm sure a lot of drivers will be hating on Pyro for allowing some rain to occur. And Fuzzle, let's just see, is there any rain predicted for the race? Or are we looking all clean for now? So if everybody's on, if everyone was on inters for Q1, perhaps everyone will do their first lap on softs here in Q2. Actually, oh my goodness, Junichi is actually out on the soft compound tyres. Is it wet enough for Inters then? Everyone's out on dries. Everybody is going to be out on the track on these dry compound tyres. I don't think it's drivable on the dries. It seems to be drivable. I just don't believe it. It looks a little damp out there, really. For those.
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay. There's Alexa popping off. No one's actually come out on Inters. It's actually Lucy that's just had a. I think it's. To me, it looks like the softs are really going to struggle. But I mean, it might be worth just trying and seeing, because obviously if you can get any sort of slight advantage, it's going to be extremely good for you to get into. Because what we could actually see here is the best laps being set in the extremely early portion of the session, and then it just kind of being a little bit irrelevant for the rest of it. Yeah, I do genuinely believe that the Inters were the option to go for, but everyone's out on slicks, I think, just trying to get that quick, rapid lap in. So, well, let's see how this goes then. For the guys, there's the first Inter runner, Zaki's Beast. No, Luke the Blade, I think everyone's trying it on softs. Swearback Flame actually deciding that Inters are going to full wet. I mean, okay, let's be honest here. This is why they're trying out these softs, because if they can get a soft run in, fair play. But if they don't, then they're going to have wasted not actually that much time. But imagine if you're on Inters now and then it just gets wetter and wetter. Dare us to say, yeah, it's definitely time for these intermediate tyres. I'm really impressed actually at the drivers. Sort of just keeping it on the road with these soft compound tyres. I think everyone seems to be. No one's had a spin that I've been able to witness yet. I mean, I'm looking at the track map at the same time, and it looks all pretty much pretty fast in the right direction. Then, Giannucci getting very loose around the turn 15. This could be the danger. There's round for Pyro. Pyro's had a spin. 25's coming out then. 25, 26. Tech support. Where's he going to put his car? To the top. One of the McLaren. That's Fuzzle. I think it's pretty much going to be a race for the Inters. I think it's going to really depend on if these Inters are faster. We've got a lot of yellow flags. I think that's Liam Bold around. No way, it's swept. It's the man on the wet tyres who's round then. There's a Williams round as well. That is, oh dear, it's Omtastical. Yeah, if you can easily do a 24 on the Inters. Oh my goodness. Did Frosted Cheese miss the pit lane entry? Well, let's just see what Zaki's Beast can do on this intermediate tyre run. And if he's going to be able to take, perhaps knock down some of these guys. I mean, I'd expect the Inters to be faster than softs at this stage, but will they be 25 fast? I mean, Inters can easily do a 24. Let's just see. 24, remember we're seeing some 22, so that's about 2 seconds down from the pure dry running. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, it looks like these guys that are currently sat in the bottom 5 on out laps on Inters will probably see themselves into the top 5 and then push our current mid 5 into the bottom 5. So a bit of all mix around here. I think we'll just see how this goes for Zaki's Beast and just how much he's up by. And, well, let's just see what happens. Zaki's Beast. we were looking, Giannucci was looking around a 17 and 18 as he was coming around turn 15 of Galp. It's looking like it's going to be a similar lap time, actually, I think. And the Inters aren't going to get faster. Ooh, it's going to be interesting. Zacky's Beast puts in a 25.8. Oh, was that... Did we just see Frosted Cheese round again? Very much struggling with his tyres. Luke the Blade on a flyer. Sweatback on a flyer. And Sweatback is actually further ahead than Luke the Blade here on his lap. And let's sort of see where Sweatback can put him. A driver who was towards the sharper end at the end of Q1. Let's see what he can do in Q2, and I think that will give us a good representation of where everyone is. Obviously, if the Inters just get worse and worse, Zacky's Beast could see himself through quite comfortably if the Inters can't improve that much. So let's see what Sweatback Flame can do then in the McLaren now. 24/7, yeah, the Inter's much, much better. As Luke the Blade comes around that final corner now, let's see what he can do. A 24.5. So Inter's really working rather nicely here. Oh, pardon me, sorry. I don't know if Zacky's Beast was going for another lap. Yes, he was. He's 7/10 up at the moment. It's going to put him at 25.1. That's going to put him up to P3. Zacky's Beast to the line. Indeed, he does. A 9/10 improvement. A 24.9 for Zacky's Beast. Actually, a fairly decent affair. Pyro currently, of course, purple through that middle sector. Nice to see you in the chat, AR. So then, we come round this turn 14 complex now. Slightly strangely shaped hairpin. As round the final corner of Galp, sorry, comes Pyro. Let's see what he can do on the B intermediates. Yes, it's a 24.0, half a second quicker. So everyone's looking pretty fast. Electro Saunders on the Inters. Where can he put his car? 25.1 in P5. Obviously, with everybody else on some intermediate compounded tyres, it's going to be interesting to see where that puts him on the order. So actually, I think a couple of the Ferraris just coming for their hour laps now. I think Frosted is the furthest on track on a flyer. I want to say he is. Because I believe he actually is. Everybody else, both the McLaren or the McLaren. Actually, let's take a look if Sweatback is going for a second run. No, he's not. Pyro isn't going for a second run either. So it's just Fuzzle out there on the track at the moment. Om in front of him is on an outlap. Let's see if Om can see himself through into Q3. That would be lovely to see. Yeah, Fuzzle looks about 1.5 seconds up on his time, and he's still got the third sector to go. And especially with the turn 15, just how high speed it is, and how much grip he would have been losing on slick tyres in the wet. Oh, Pyro's round. That looks to be kind of at the exit of 12. He's gone round there. Fuzzle to the line. P2. Very nice lap time from him. Looks like the Aston Martin of Electro Saunders invalidated, so will not be improving. Power GT. Someone I don't think we've talked about the whole race. Nice and fast drivers. Oh my goodness, it looks like someone was glitching across the track. Goes fastest. So perhaps the track's starting to ramp up a tiny bit for a lot of these drivers. That's Petaflat on an outlap. I think this is going to be Shakos to the line. He's only 1.1 seconds up, but that puts him up to P2. A very valiant effort from him. Teeks unfortunately invalidated his lap, so this will basically be like an outlap for him. Looks like, is that Liam Pualda? Yes, it is. Liam, who's now 1.3 seconds up on his time at the moment. That's going to be a 24.5. That's going to put him about P5, that sort of region. As round the final corner comes Leon Boulder, although I'm sure he's going to improve enough, perhaps not by half a second to jump up to P4, so he should definitely secure that P. No, he does. He finds a lot more time, does Leon Boulder. I apologise for that. 23.6. Wow. The cars are really going fast. On goes up to P8 now with a 24.7. Both the Alphas now starting outlap. Sweatback Flame, I think you just need to be on the track. Sweatback, I think, is going to be starting a lap now, and is going to be going again. DRS enabled, so it seems to be drying up even more. With 5 minutes to go, we might even see some dry running here towards the end of the laps, which would be rather interesting to see. That's Fuzzle pulling into the pit lane now. I think that's Power GT just behind, if we can find where Power GT is, up there in P2. Yeah, he's pulling into the pit lane as well. I think it's going to be Petter Flat. Is he going to be in the pits? Yes, he will be. Teeks is already in those pits. I think Pyro, is he going to be on a flyer? Pyro not on flyer. Neither is Shakos. Those two are both into the pit lane. I think it is Sweatback who is on a slight flying lap. Liam Buolda is actually going to probably pull into the pits. He doesn't have much ERS left. Both the Alphas currently on their flying laps at the moment. Tech support currently 1.6 seconds up. Giannuzzi didn't look like he was actually improving by all that much from the last time I checked. Yeah, Electro going on softs, perhaps a tad early. Tech support is pulling in because, yeah, no, it is time for those softs because, of course, DRS was re-enabled. So, sort of a bit of a waste of time finishing another lap here, really. And I'm sure Giannuzzi's going to do the same thing and dive into the pit lane despite being 6/10 up. So, real changeable conditions here. I think Sweatback is going to be pulling into the pits as well. I think if you finish a lap, it's a little bit silly. In my opinion, I think Petter Flat will even be in as well. So let's see if Electro Saunders will improve when by the time he comes round for that lap again. Because we just never can be too sure if it's a true improvement. And well, let's just see what happens with Electro Saunders now. Now I think obviously he's not quite going to be at the sharp end, but as of right now, he's technically into Q3, which is a rather good performance, I think, for a Tier 1 debut for Electro Saunders. As then, coming into Turn 1, he's a little hard on the brakes, down to 4th gear. Still quite low grip overcast conditions out there. Of course, the track has just started to dry. It almost looks like it's impossible to turn in, and he's soaring at the wheel with oversteer, and he's really, really slow coming up through Turn 3 and 4. He's 1.3 seconds down. Not the greatest effort, I think, from Electro Saunders. Perhaps out there a little too early. He's going to be recharging that back. Yeah. Can't believe Voting Web's out in Q1. What a shame. Is he even still in the UK? Can he even join the stream? Because if he's not, I'd be rather disappointed that he's not here cheering on the guys. Right, so Electro obviously isn't improving on this lap. Looks like Power GT is going to be the next 2-star flying lap. Now, the reason why we want to watch the guys that are just starting is to see roughly how much the improvements are by, and we can kind of gauge how ready the track is. Because it might have been, well, no one's out too early. This is pretty much going to be one attempt for all the drivers. There's the Williams of, well, I'm not sure what Williams it is. One of the Williams is right in front of Power GT and actually giving him a rather nice slipstream, but it's going to block him into the braking zone. I think Power GT is going to be a little blocked here by a Williams. And the Williams is on an outlap, whereas Power GT is on a flying lap. He's going to block him coming through the high-speed corners. Power GT incredibly compromised here. And that is some very, very extreme blocking. And that's Luke the Blade. He's just not letting Power GT through. Oh, there's racing. Luke the Blade is not going to... Power GT is going to have a really poor lap. He's 3 seconds up, but he's probably going to be out here. What is Luke the Blade doing? What on earth is he thinking? Not letting Power GT through. Power GT is having to take odd lines. Power GT is screwed. That's his qualifying over. Power GT is going to be out. All for the Blade just to get a slightly better outlap. Power GT does go to a 19.7, but is that going to be enough? Well, Luke the Blade didn't get round to the line in time because he was too busy fighting and wasn't actually setting laps. Electro Saunders, what sort of time is he going to be able to put on the board? A 19.9, 2/10 back. I'm not sure this is going to be enough for Power GT, and that's horrible if he's just been blocked like that. Yeah, Zacky's Beast 19.6 to the line. Really good lap. That's a decent enough lap from him to possibly see him through. Looks like it's going to be Frosted Cheese next. So it's just, I think right now, I'm saying the top three are going to be our bottom three. Let's just see where Frosted Cheese can put this car now. And I think as soon as we see some heavy hitters coming through across the line, 18.4, yeah, they're gone. It's elimination time for that. The current guys that's P2 to P4. Sweatback Flame is 17. Looks like Liam Boulder is going to be the next driver to cross the line after, I think that's Tech Support, who goes to 17.1. Liam Boulder only puts it to 17.2, but that should be safe for him. Loads of drivers coming across the line now. Fuzzle going up to P3. Looks like Teeks now moves up to P4, pushing Fuzzle down to P5. I'm up to P6. I'm now down to P8 as loads of drivers come. I'm not sure who exactly was eliminated as everyone sort of finished far too early there, but Om is definitely through. Come on, Om. We love to see it. We love to see an Om Q3 appearance. But let's just see who got eliminated there. Yeah, it was Zacky's Beast, Power GT, Electro Saunders. Petaflat didn't get a lap in. Neither did Luke the Blade. But Luke the Blade completely screwed Power GT's qualifying effort. That is possibly the worst blocking example I've ever seen. Wow. What on earth was Luke the Blade doing? I'm not sure if he even recognised or realised. He must have thought Power GT wasn't on a flyer, but that is just... Oh my goodness. You know, it is league racing, blocks happen, but not like that. Not to that sort of extremity. Oh, but the thing was, because he ended up racing Power GT, he probably lost 3 or 4 seconds. Yeah, he probably lost 3 or 4 seconds in the time where he was battling with Power GT, instead of if he just let him go, and yeah, he didn't think he was on a flyer. Well, now we've got sun. Portugal sort of demonstrating peak British weather here. Yeah, that's unfortunate for you, Formula Sandwich. Even if you weren't going to make the line, he probably could have. But the thing is, he wouldn't have lost that much time if you just let him through. And you know what? He's going to be pretty screwed in terms of penalties. But yeah, I mean, it was like a bit earlier. We had some pretty catastrophic rainstorms in the UK. I mean, I think the area that I'm currently in, the Midlands, got hit pretty bad. If you're in the Tier 2 string, you would have heard us talking about this again. Yeah, it got hit pretty smellily. And, well, some rivers near me burst their banks and stuff, which was pretty insane to see. Considering I live right by a stream, it was slightly concerning to see the levels raised so high, but you can sort of imagine it was pretty extreme weather. And then it's sunny today, which is always brilliant. So then, Sweatback Flame, going to be the first driver to set a flying lap here in Q3. A few other drivers also just beginning flying laps as well. Ooh, looks like it could get a little spicy between the Mercedes and the Alfa Romeo. Pyro does the right thing and lets him through. Yeah, indeed. Let's hope that race pace is much better. You know, we'd love to see some Formula Sandwich moving up the field. It's always good to see. Sweatback Flame then is coming through. It looks a little bit wide actually, as he came through turn 7, through the corner that's called Samsung. I can't even believe that it's actually called Samsung. Craig Jones into turn 10 and now 11. the beautiful roller coaster rhythm that is Portimao spits you out into turn 13 now. After you went down the hill into turn 12, then you get turn 14 here. Before you put the power down and you make the flat out run to the line through 15 now. Power, power, power for Sweatback Flame. Where can he put this car? Of course, it's up to P1. His teammate, Liam Buelder, is he up with a 17.6? Can he beat it? Yes, he can. A 16.5 for Liam Buelder. A very nice time indeed. Giannuzzi, 16.9. Very impressive stuff. Pyro to the line now. Is just beginning a flying lap. I think he must have had a little mistake on his first one. Can he put this car on provisional pole? P4 is the best he can manage. Teeks a 17.2 then. Fairly decent effort from him. Looks like Fuzzle goes up to P5 with a 17.7. A decent effort from him. Frosted Cheese just coming around turn 14 at the moment. What I do like about Portugal is the turns are relatively simple to understand. I could probably ditch the track map and that I've got on my left hand side, and it could be pretty simple to figure out. Frosted Cheese didn't look like he was using all of the track there in the Haas, but he certainly used a limited amount of time. P4 for him, a very nice valiant effort indeed. Shakos, one of the fastest qualifiers we've seen. Let's see where he can do now in the Ferrari powered car. The Italian horses galloping underneath him as he drags close to 1,000 horsepower down through the gears to the line for Shakos. Provisional pole position belongs to him. A 1,000th clear of Liam Buelder. Wow, is that close. Pyro, where can he put his car now? DRS is active for him. P6 is the best he can manage on some slightly used tyres, 17.5. He's got a lot more time left in him. So tech support must not have another set of tyres, which is why he's remaining in the pit lane. So in terms of the blocking on stream, I've just got the whole sort of thing of Luke the Blade just in front of you for pretty much most of the lap. Numi, is on absolute smoke right now. Yeah, and 1,000th is incredibly close at the top, but then it's about 4 cents back, so it's a little bit further from there. Yeah, in Q3, actually did really, really well. I think with Haas here, he's under less pressure to perform. No, is going to win today. He's going to win or get a podium. It's just and Portugal, they just blend together. He'll be in a barrier. I hope not. I hope does well today. I enjoy a bit of racing. There's no hole. Yeah, I don't have the Q1 blocking clip, but I think because you got through, it doesn't really matter that much, as long as, you tell, you sort of maybe just tell them who it is. I don't know, I like laughing at him. Leave poor alone. He's doing a good job right now. And he's going to get some good pace. He's gonna speed up a little bit in a minute. He's just got the sandbags on at the moment, so... we just got to cut him some slack. Just got to cut him some slack here. Yeah, let's see who will go faster on the second runs. Oh my gosh, I hope you didn't hear that. What happened in the Monaco My Team race? Is such a good driver that you can't hate him. He's such a good lad. You can't hate a bit of Oh. Not leaving alone. Poor he just wants to exist. A Shakos pole. Well, it's not much gambling if you're... Sorry, have we just had 6 ads in a row? Oh my goodness. A Shakos pole. It's just too safe, When you're gambling, you want to be risking stuff. And you're not risking anything putting Shakos on pole position. Yeah, pretty much like betting on a max victory. Yes. We don't want to... I mean, today he starts from P6, but the speed that Red Bull had in the sprint just tells me that unless like Pastor Maldonado comes back out of retirement to take him out, we've got no hope. So 3 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. My goodness. Fuzzles out on the track. Power GT for pole position. Yes. Well, you know, you got to get ready to answer some questions, to ask me some questions about some random stuff, because we've got the intermission next, where we discuss random things happening. So we'll wait then for more drivers to come out. Looks like Frosted Cheese out on the circuit now, along with Fuzzle. So those two are some early birds out. Perhaps they fueled XLR podcast. Well, I think we've put some different changes on the XLR podcast now. It's just a general chat rather than reading off Wikipedia, because it was a good start, but Wikipedia is a bit boring. You know, you can go to that yourself and read everything that we say, but you know, you can't make up the weird and wonderful stories of like cows in the road and how good cheese is that we saw yesterday from Tier 2. So, you know, got to put some of that in there. Right, Fuzzle begins his final flying lap here in Q3. The one to decide it all. Where can the Red Bull driver put this car? Going through turn 3, called Lagos at the moment, also the capital city of Nigeria, for those that didn't know. As now he comes down the straight before he enters the difficult downhill braking zone of turn 5. Very tricky if you're braking when you're going down the hill, because you get a bit of extra help from gravity, and those brakes have to do a bit of extra work. Very easy to lock up. The high-speed double right-hander of turn 7 and 8 as he now powers his way up the hill. Fuzzle doing the best he can to try and improve across this lap. 17.7 for him now. He'll be looking to jump as high up the order as he can. Through downhill again he comes before he's going to get a nice uphill braking zone into turn 13. A little easier to brake when you come uphill for Fuzzle then. Didn't quite see his sector split as he comes round turn 14 now, powering his Red Bull down the hill through 15, 7th gear, flat out, pedal to the carbon fibre for Fuzzle. Where's he going to put this car? P4. Really good improvement from Fuzzle, and honestly, an incredible lap that might see him nice and high up the order. Frosted Cheese in the Haas now. Where can he put this car? It's basically a test Ferrari there, pretty much. He bumps and jumps all over the curves, ringing that car out as far left as he can. Out of VRS, P3 for Frosted Cheese. A nice, beautiful lap for him, as a few on outlaps, and Liam Boulder, one of the heavy hitters, only 1,000th behind Shakos. What is he going to be able to do in the Q3 session? Is he going to be able to displace Shakos? He's purple and improving through the first sector as he now makes the run through turn 4 into turn 6 into turn 7, up the hill through turn 8 now. The McLaren as close to a nice edge as he can possibly get it. Liam Boulder knows this is an important lap. It's one for the ages. He needs to put his absolutely all into this lap. He's currently close to 0.2 of a second up on his last lap time. Looks like one of the Alfa Romeos is round coming out of turn 3. We'll check up on that in a minute. But Liam Boulder looks like he's going to be taking provisional pole position off Shakos' hands as he comes round the final corner now. His front wing flexing at the extreme mass of the downforce beneath him. Liam Boulder takes provisional pole position away from Shakos then. A valiant effort. And I think that was tech support round. So tech support will not set a good lap time in the race then. In the session, sorry. Pyro is going to be the next driver to cross the line then. The man who has put on plenty of practice for this session. Where's he going to put his car now? P3. Good effort from him, but Giannuzzi displaces him. Sweatback Flame coming to the line now. Comes around the final corner. Drag race to the line. Half a second up for Sweatback Flame. P6 is the best he can manage. But here we go. Shakos now to the line. He's invalidated. Liam Buolda looks like he's going to take pole position. Teeks is invalid. How much is he improved by? Can he jump up the order in any sensible form? No, he can't. P9 is the best for Tech Support, invalid lap as well. Teeks, invalid lap. Shakos, invalid lap. I think he was actually down anyway. And Liam Buolda, your two-time XLR champion, is on pole position for the Portuguese Grand Prix. What a lap from Liam Buolda. Did it when it counted. Set that time when the opposition couldn't. And that's by just under 0.2 of a second. It's Liam on pole position for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Right, we will be beginning in 5 minutes then. Well, what is there to talk about? We touched on a lot of stuff last stream. Let's put it that way. A lot of things were said. Oh my goodness, gonna get a quad cramp. Well, I'm not really sure what else to really talk about. Well, let's talk about what's going to happen in today's race. 8 PM start here in the UK. I believe that's about 9 o'clock for most of Europe. Actually, here in Portimao, it was going to be a 8 o'clock start as well, as Portugal is in the same time zone as the UK. And ironically, actually, an old ally of the United Kingdom. I think our alliance stretches back all the way to the 1300s in constant Anglo-Spanish wars that plagued the 1500s and the 1400s, and into the early 1600s. Portugal had our back for a lot of that, and we had theirs. When Spain would get a little naughty. In fact, that's actually how Gibraltar is in British hands because of war and fun Spanish stuff. Well, oh my goodness, my track map is going crazy right now. Portugal is honestly an absolutely beautiful country. I mean, when I went down to the Algarve this summer, about 30 minutes from Portimao. Honestly, the countryside there was absolutely stunning. Just these beautiful red rock cliffs. I mean, it literally, it was stunning. Actually, Oscar Piastri was at the same beach that I was. But he was there like a week later, which is rather concerning. I literally saw the picture of his Instagram story and I was like, oh my goodness, Oscar Piastri has been to the same beach as I had. He's probably pissed in the same water that I did. It was amazing. And yeah, it's beautiful down there, and it's definitely recommended a visit. And if you can go into the older seaside towns like Portimao and a lot of those ones on the south coast of Portugal, they are stunning. I think when we had the 20, I think it was either the 2020 or the 2021 Portuguese Grand Prix. They had a little segment about the ancient city of Portimao. It's just stunning down there, and it's definitely worth a trip. Plus, Portimao usually has some great racing as well. I think we had a double header in European Le Mans Series for their season finale, actually just this weekend, and I can't actually remember who won the championship, but it was good racing from what I watched. I was a little busy the last couple of days, so I didn't really get a chance to watch the racing as much as I really would have liked to, but I know it was good. It's always good racing now. Actually, ironically, it's gonna be one of the it's one of the only series to actually keep the LMP3s in. LMP3 cars, they cause a bit of disaster. I think we've seen that many a times with IMSA. you know, the LMP3s just cause absolute chaos to the GTPs, the GTs, the LMP2s. They just go absolutely crazy. But it's cool to see ELMS actually keep the LMP3s in there, because they have the LMP2 class, they have LMP2 Pro Am, and then they've got LMP3, and then they've got GTE. I think that was the last race we've seen GTEs in LMP3 in ELMS, which is a real shame, because GTEs honestly are some of the nicest looking and some of the honestly absolutely beautiful cars. You know, just think about the 911 RSR. I mean, that car is just stunning. I mean, the sound that engine has just is beautiful. I think I'm going to miss those cars, the slightly faster, higher downforce stuff. I'm going to miss them, but you know, so we just got to wait. I think the GT3 class coming to Le Mans and ELMS, and well, it was in IMSA this year, but it's going to be good. It's going to be really exciting to see what those cars can do around the circuits. Just sort of how obviously they're going to be a few seconds slower than the GTEs, but we are getting going here for the Portuguese Grand Prix, as we are now on the outlap here with Liam Brolder starting from pole position. Then he's selected the medium compound tyres along with Shackles, Giannuzzi, Pyro. Frosted Cheese picking the hard tyres. Interesting choice for Frosted Cheese. Hards might not be the best around the circuit. Mediums for Sweatback Flame, Fuzzle, Teaks, Tech Support, Zakis B's, Power GT. Those guys on medium compound tyres. Softs for Electro Saunders and Luke the Blade. They're going aggressive off the start. Petaflat on the medium compound tyres along with Jay-Z, Jack Imac and Unitos. Right. Let's let these guys take us round a lap a little bit more. Oh, Nami's here. I'm just going to invite him. To this one that I'm in at the moment. Right, hopefully he should be able to join us. There we go. Nami Kyon, welcome to the stream. And he'll be sat in the co-comms position for now. We've got about 45, about half race distance, about 45 minutes compared to the normal hour and a half race. And then we can get going for the real life Grand Prix. I do hope everyone will enjoy that, as the rest of the drivers now prepare to line up on that grid for the start of the Portuguese Grand Prix. And let's get ready to get rocking. Oh, yeah, we can hear you. Alright. Let us cook off the start. Trying to get some good commentary here in XLR. Let's see what we can do. We've got a lovely view on the run up into turn 1 then. Luke the Blade unfortunately missing his grid start ever so slightly. And he's been disqualified. So let's wait and see what happens across 33 laps around the Portimao circuit. Cars going everywhere. Liam Brolder on pole. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go then for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Looks like Liam Brolder's got a great start compared to Shackles, who's got a relatively poor getaway. Looks like Giannuzzi already on the outside of the Ferraris. They barrel into turn 1, 3 wide further back with Sweatback Flame, and the Haas of Frosted Cheese. Looks like one of the Ferraris of, I think that's Teaks, dropping down positions rapidly. Frosted Cheese now going around the outside of the hard tyres. They're going to be slightly colder off this restart. Sweatback Flame and Frosted Cheese going wheel to wheel up turn 4 with Sweatback Flame now up into P5. Frosted Cheese down into P6. Is making up positions into P7. but there goes Fuzzle down the inside. Look at Electro Saunders sending a bit of a lock up from him as they all take their way into the turn 5 hairpin. Cars going everywhere, trying to go wheel to wheel, trying to fight each other. Here's tech support on the inside of Electro Saunders now as they come through 7 and into 8. That's Samsung. Electro Saunders with the soft compound tyres goes round the outside of tech support, making a very nice move there. Looks like Petaflat also in the background battling away, and Teeks making up a few positions as well, going down the inside of Petaflat here as they're wheel to wheel as they come through the roller coaster section of the circuit. On the inside is Petaflat. Teeks forced to the outside. He's going to have a slightly poorer line as they come make their way through. They're still going to be wheel to wheel as they come through this later part of the circuit. And now Jack Imac also getting involved and battling with Teeks as he's lost that position. And look at the amount of cars. Is that someone steaming around the outside of turn 15? That's Jack Imac going all the way around the outside. It almost looks like he's overtaken 3 cars there. Wow, is that a good move from Jack Imac? As then he's still fighting away before they enter turn 1. Nobody, bit of contact between everyone, and Jack slightly forced wide. Teeks getting involved in the attack yet again. Tech support still on the outside, still fighting away. The outside from 3 becomes the inside for 4, although Jack's found his way and tech support slightly blocked off by a slower Teeks in front. And that allows Jack Imac to go down the inside. A huge lock-up, it looks like, up there again from Electro Saunders. Jack Imac now up into P10. And this is a huge squabble for the midfield zone. Nobody else is actually particularly very close out front. They're all sort of 5/10ths area, all of that. Whereas this is where the squabble is. This is where the fighting is, right in the midfield. And it's incredible battling between the pair of them. I just love it. A bit of Jack Imac overtaking. As here we go, tech support coming around the outside now. As they're still in this roller coaster section. Looking like they're in about turn 12 at the moment before they come into the braking zone of 13. Wow, I think the cars are going to be settling down a little bit now. Looks like Luke the Blade getting pretty feisty with Zaki's Beast further back. Petaflat also getting involved. There's just battling all around the circuit, apart from where it's important, out there at the front, where Liam Boulder leads from Shakos at the moment. Although Giannuzzi got relatively close. Looks like Sweatback Flame could be trying to make a move on Pyro here, but Pyro defends the centre of the track the best that he possibly can. Looks like some more battling further back with tech support. Down the inside of Teeks, who storms around the outside. Not sure if he kept that one within track limits, but Teeks there still on the outside as tech support goes down the inside coming into turn 3, but that now becomes the outside onto the dirtier, the greasier part of the racing circuit. But tech support keeps his foot in it with some superior grip and manages to make that move work as they come barrel their way through. Looks like battling away with Frosted Cheese. He looks like he's gone down the inside of the Haas driver, but Frosted seemed to have the better exit despite being on the harder tyre, and demotes on back down into P8. Some brilliant fighting across the track. We need to watch out for Sweatback Flame and Pyro, who are battling away. And here we go, Teeks and tech support fighting their way down the roller coaster. Yeah, again, looks like Power GT, who unfortunately got blocked in Q2, which is why he was out and not into the qualifying 3 session. Still fighting away with these guys. Now he's in the mixer as well. It's just some incredible close wheel-to-wheel action that this Portimao circuit just brings to the table. It's why it's one of my favourite circuits. You slap some GT cars with some wheel banging in around here as well, and you can just imagine the excitement and the exhilaration of seeing these incredible machines. As look at that, looks like tech support going around the outside of Teeks. He's still there, but Teeks has still got his front wing in it. And look at Power GT pulling to the inside of the pair of them. He looks like he's got a much better run on the exit through 15, and now Power GT submits his place in P11. Tech support tries to fight him but isn't quite able to. Now he's on the outside. Looks like Power GT jumped over the sausage curb quite significantly, and tech support forced to the inside, pinned a little bit and unable to move as Teeks gets past him. And now Luke the Blade's right on the back, and actually down the inside of tech support before they come into turn 5. Although Luke has to back out as he needs to avoid the Ferrari of Teeks, who was turning in. And that got pretty close to some big contacts, some big punts there. So Jack Imac is now right on the back of who has fallen back. Well, actually, no, has just got ahead of Frosted Cheese. But then due to all the hard fighting, is still quite a way behind the rest of the field. As looks like going wide as Electro Saunders there. That might open the door up to Power GT and Teeks. Power GT to the inside as they come through turn 12 now. Or sorry, 13, sorry. As they now make their run up to 14. Power GT makes that move on Electro Saunders and is now up into the points and can perhaps chase down Frosted Cheese in front, who I think it looks like for the lead here, we could see a change for the lead actually here. Liam Boada defends to the middle of the track, but there goes Shakos down the inside. And the Ferrari, there was almost a little bit of contact there, but now the Ferrari takes the lead of the race away from Liam Boada. Jack Imac also gets past Om in a nice outside DRS overtake. Very nice move from Jack to see himself ahead of the Williams driver. Luke the Blade, tech support, and Tease all still fighting away. Looks like Om and Frosted Cheese also battling as they come through turn 4. And now that's with Power GT as well, who is now right on the back of you. You can just see how much time they're losing. Power GT tries to find a gap between the two of them. There's just no space. Oh! Someone going wide. I think there's big contact. It looks like Zacky's Beast a little bit wayward off the circuit.
It looked to me like Zach's Beast went steaming across the corner and the side of someone. He got a penalty for the corner cutting as well. I think Zach's Beast had completely cut the corner into the side of someone. That's what it appeared like for me. There's been a bit of contact throughout that battle parity so far, but it's the worst it's got. And it was no worse than just a bit of wheel banging before.
I think what might have happened then, if what you're describing is Zacky's Beast has tried to brake really deep, but then has seen that he can't actually make the corner, has cut it and still slammed into the side of someone, just because of the sheer amount of cars that are in that sort of train. But then looks like tech support right on the back of Om, who's going to be trying displacing the Williams driver outside of the points. Then tech support having a pretty poor getaway and then getting stuck with some really intense wheel-to-wheel racing, which is why he's not quite made up as much progress as you would have hoped. He's down the inside, although Om's going to try and fight this one round the outside. They're both still wheel-to-wheel now as they head through turn 2 and into turn 3. Tech support's going to have the inside line compared to Om.
Oh no!
Oh, what's happened in the background?
Honda's just going incredibly late on the brakes, and the contact with Tease as well, and Pedalflat's got involved.
Oh
no!
Looked like someone. Like it was almost all 4 wheels in the air for Pedalflat actually.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it looked like he pushed him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Wow,
So
some
I think
pretty
what
rough
happened was
contact.
Electric Honda's went for a very low and completely missed his breaking point. I think he was trying to dive bomb Om, I'm pretty sure. And he went into Luke the Blade ahead, and then his contact with I think then he slightly turned T, who then spun around and then got T-but then collected Pedalflat and then was T-boned by Jay-Z. So it's just unfortunate all around. There's contact again with Teeks and Pedalflat, pushing each other wide.
Yeah, Jay-Z has got no front
Side
wing,
by
so
side,
he was
up their
definitely
hill.
collected there in that incident.
Jay-Z got just T-boned Teeks. There was nothing he could have really done.
Yeah, and the battling continues then with Frosted Cheese getting passed by both Power GT and Tech Support down the same straight. He now drops down to P10 and is going to have Luke the Blade, who's the softs actually lasted fairly decent while. We've got another yellow flag, I think. Oh, Electro Saunders. He's gone round there. He's gone late on the brakes. Zacky's Beast, who was a little further back, gets pushed a bit wide then. They're still going to be up the inside as round the outside. Tries to go Electro Saunders. He goes off the track in doing so and picks up the 3-second time penalty of the session. And I'm not sure Zacky's Beast will be too happy with being passed off the track there. The gaps in this mid-pack is actually starting to open up a little bit as certain drivers get ahead. Power GT and Tech Support will still probably be fighting away. I'm rather amazed that they've still got like 40% and 40% ERS, despite the insane amount of battling that's been going on. In fact, Luke the Blade's also got ahead of Frosted Cheese in the melee as well. That's a 3-second time penalty for him. So I think we've got 3 drivers on 3 seconds at the moment, which is pretty decent actually, considering that we are on lap 7. Of course, this is Tier 1, so the drivers are a little bit more competent than the Tier 2 counterparts. It's not a necessary diss on those Tier 2 drivers, but it's just the general truth.
Tier 2 races have been incredibly exciting, just different manner.
Yeah.
Tier 2's a lot better than it was at the start. They're not having...
That is very true.
5 safety cars. Electric Swans are just better than the pit lane as well.
Yeah, Portugal.
Was it Vegas where we hit the safety car cap by like lap 10?
Yeah, it was very, very early. Rather interesting.
By about half race distance, we couldn't have any more safety cars. Used them all up.
Yeah, so interesting to see that Electro Saunders. Oh, that's Zacky's Beast round. He's into the wall. That's a safety car. He's lost his front wing actually.
Front wing.
Actually, that's coming out of turn 4 then. He's just up the hill. He's just spun around. And, well, that is a virtual safety car, and I'm not sure anyone will be in. It's a bit too early to be really pulling into the pit box at this stage, but now it gives us a good chance to kind of evaluate where everybody is on track at the moment, as we haven't really had much chance with the insane amount of battling we've seen. Shakos currently leads the race then, as he overtook Leon Buolda. Giannucci and Pyro remain where they were. Sweatback Flames actually moved up one position along with Fuzzle. Jack Omax had a great getaway and is up 10. Up 4 for Power GT, who's also had a very good start. Tech Support, despite the earlier setbacks, has... oh, no!
Oh, Power GT!
Drive through for speeding on the VSC.
Power GT's just gone a bit too fast.
We've
There's also a yellow flag. I think Electro Saunders went off.
Let's just have a
Or
quick...
just got a bad restart or something.
Perhaps, I'm not too sure. Yeah, I swear literally every single race we have someone who is on a virtual safety car. Here we go, Tech Support down the inside. Although it almost looked like Power GT was forced a little wide there. Which I'm not sure he'll be best pleased with, let's put it that way. As they now accelerate down, Power GT is going to have the DRS into turn 5. But he's way too far back to try a lunge. I mean, that's... well, I don't think anyone would try that. In fact, actually, he's under pressure from Luke the Blade, who tries to get a better exit, but unfortunately just doesn't quite have the traction to do so. And Power GT remains, but he's going to take that drive-through. He's got to take it pretty soon, as we see Zaki's Beast, of course, changing that front wing. Jay-Z in the pit lane.
Electro Saunders is back in. I'm trying to think how he's done that. Because they only just made a pit stop.
Also, why is Jay-Z pulled into the pit? Did Jay-Z Did they maybe have a drive-through? Because they haven't put on fresh tyres, apart from Zaki's Beast. Have all those guys got...
Let me check.
Yeah, give us a check and...
It doesn't reckon he made a pit stop at all. Obviously that does mean he had a drive-through.
Yeah, there must be that. Check on Race Director if he picked up a drive-through. I'm just looking. Right, Tech Support's going to be under a tad bit of pressure from Power GT, although Tech Support actually goes very wide through turn 1 then. Yeah, that's why they made that stop then. Yeah, that's unfortunate for them. Leon Boulder's back inside the DRS of Shakos actually, as the battles on track have sort of started to spread out a little bit. We've got Shakos and Leon Boulder in DRS range, Giannucci and Pyro also in DRS range of each other as well. This could be a fun battle with these two practicing earlier. I did almost wipe out Giannucci as well in a high-speed accident, which means I'm not allowed to roast him at all, otherwise I will be fired. But then, we will wait to see what occurs through the next 23 laps of racing that we've got round here. Still not quite at half race distance yet, and plenty of laps to go. Looks like we're at about third race distance. We're about 17-ish minutes into the race, so as long as we don't have any more safety cars, actually I think even if we have 5 safety cars, we'll probably be finished by the time that the race does begin, if not a tiny bit after, probably on the formation lap. So Power GT is now going to serve his drive-through penalty.
What time does it begin? Because it's usually about an hour for the race.
8 o'clock is when the race starts.
Oh, should be fine.
It's going to be tight, but I've got to walk to the pub, so I'm going to watch on my phone like at the start. So everyone seems to be good on fuel for now, apart from Unitos, in a bit of no man's land, and also a little bit out of fuel for now. It looks like this could be a good battle here between Teeks and Petter Flat. They are quite a way back from the rest of the order, but Teeks still defending pretty well compared to Petter Flat, and it doesn't allow Petter to get any sort of attack on the Ferrari driver. Ferrari versus Red Bull. I'm sure if we see this today, we all know who's going to come out on top because of reasons. And yeah, no way around for Petter Flat though. I think he's going to try and perhaps get a better exit, but even then he's not going to quite be able to slip up the inside or that will then round the outside. Although here we go, here looks like there's been a move that's just happened between Pyro and Giannucci. Pyro moves himself up onto the podium positions on pure merit on the same strategy. That's Pyro into P3, But Sweatback Flame is actually rather not too far behind these guys. So I think Giannuzzi's having a little bit of he's struggling a little bit at the moment. So we'll wait and see if Sweatback can catch up to that duo, or perhaps just even Giannuzzi and get that position away. Fuzzle at the moment under a little pressure from our current Season 3 champion, Jack Imac. Jack started at last. Well, he didn't actually quite start purely last because Unitos got disqualified before him. He started at P17, but now is fighting away. In fact, I think actually just further back, Petter Flat and Teeks fighting away. It looks like Teeks was very wide. He's now going to try and send that one round the outside. The outside now becomes the inside, which forces Petter on the outside of the circuit. But I think Petter Flat's just got the drive and is able to go around. But DRS is now enabled for the Ferrari, who picks the outside line. Petter Flat valiantly and bravely defends that inside line. Oh, a bit of contact there as Teeks got a much better exit. But unfortunately, Petter Flat was just in the right place at the right time, which meant that there was no position change then. So Fuzzle and Jack Imac switching positions. Giannuzzi and Pyro actually changing positions yet again. You can almost hear the insults between the two of them trying to distract each other. As Pyro's got the DRS, slipstreaming Giannuzzi coming into turn 5. No move this time around. We'll have to wait yet another lap to see this battle unfolding. Liam Buelder also right on the back of Shakos, but just look at the ERS difference between the two of them. Shakos is on 70% compared to Leon Buelder's 25. Big difference there. And we also just saw Luke the Blade pit off those soft compound tyres onto medium. So the medium runners maybe need to take these tyres another 5 laps or so. And I reckon they can make it to the end on some softs. So we'll see how that one plays out. Teeks getting back ahead of Petter Flat then. This battle seems to be pretty spicy and some pretty aggressive racing, although it looks like Teeks has got a pretty bad exit, getting all squirrely. That's around the Red Bull down the inside. Petter Flat's going to be late on the brakes, although Teeks is going to try and go round the outside and hold that line. It looks like Teeks has actually been able to have a better exit and hold the line, and that means he jumps back ahead of Petter Flat. Bit of ding-dong fighting between these two. Electro Saunders and Zacky's Beast also fighting. Electro Saunders goes for a huge dive, locking up his wheels, forcing Zacky's Beast off of the circuit. That was a massive dive bomb from Electro Saunders, and Zacky's Beast is all over his gearbox, has to brake a little bit more aggressively. But wow, big dive from Electro Saunders, and it did pay off for him in the end. Unitos into the pit lane on his medium compound tyres, getting them off early on. Pyro also did get back ahead of Giannuzzi as well. And Unitos on the softs already, so he's going to be doing a 2-stop strategy, because those softs, I doubt they're going to last sort of the 19 laps that you need. I'd say perhaps the mediums might last that long, but certainly not the softs. But again, a late safety car, banking on a late safety car could help that strategy. Pretty significantly out actually, as the two leaders come round the final corner for yet another lap 14. Liam Wilder's kind of just sort of sticking with Shakos, but isn't really making too many gains and is just sort of maintaining his position right now.
Giannuzzi's gone back past Pyro as well. They've been trading positions down the straight.
Yeah, it's
Giannuzzi also had 53 RS, which will help him in the long run.
That is true.
They're around similar pace.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got this ding-dong... Yeah, and especially if you see a lot of this ding-dong sort of battling between the two of them, it does often mean they are relatively similar in pace. I think we're seeing that with Teeks and Petter Flat. And I think we'll just see them pass each other and pass each other again with some DRS. Jack Imac made it past Fuzzle a few laps ago, but still hasn't actually broken out of the DRS yet, which is rather interesting for him. Interesting to see that Sweatback Flame just pulled into the pits for a set of hard tyres to the end. That'll be an easy stint to the end, actually, for Swept. And we'll just see if that how that sort of fits in with a lot of the other drivers, and if they do a similar thing or a different thing. It's going to be really interesting to see. So I think actually Jay-Z's just been lapped by Shakos and Liam Boulder.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, but he had to have the serve the drive through, and he had to pit. So it's not quite true lapping for Jay-Z. It's a bit unfortunate, really. But those two still continue to fight. In fact, this time around, Giannuzzi has maintained that position away from Pyro. We'll see if that sort of still occurs as they come down the second straight on the exit of turn 4. I think a lot of it is honestly dependent on who's getting the better exits, really, here. As well, of course, both same age tyres, but very, very different ERS counts, which I think is going to be influencing this race a lot more than we would have thought. Who's that into the pits now? It's on 15 lap old mediums. After a really good start and some great battling, is now onto the hard tyres. That'll take him to the end of the session. So yeah, it's a shame for Om that he sort of dropped back a little bit and has found himself in kind of no man's land just a little bit, which is rather a shame for him.
Slightly better for him than my prediction of he'll be in a barrier by turn 1.
Yeah, he's actually been doing alright. And here we go, Teeks and Petaflat battling away again. Petaflat steams down the inside with such extreme overspeed that there was nothing Teeks could do. But now Teeks has got the DRS as they come into turn 5. He picks the inside line. He's down the inside of Petaflat. Petaflat lets him go and chooses the better exit. But unfortunately, it's not quite good enough to power past Teeks. And Petaflat has to... Yeah, indeed. Liam in early for hards. Hards, that's interesting. With
it's just around half race distance that he's done on the mediums, so
and
he'll be able to make it to the end.
Oh, there's no question about it, but would you not try and stretch the mediums out just a tad more and go onto some softs? Because the softs, according to a lot of the drivers, were performing really nicely, which is interesting to see. And I think it's just going to be dependent on how the race unfolds, really. As if there's a safety car, it's kind of thrown up in the air, everyone's strategy, really. But that's what I think Giannuzzi, Shakos and Pyro are doing, is going onto some soft compound tyres.
You never know. Oh, Electric Swans has just gone round. And he's just reset to track. Well, you can't do that. And he's just lost a lap to Shakos. He's got Giannuzzi and Pyro just behind him as well, so they'll put a lap on him.
Ooh, Shakos 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Yeah, well, that's a real shame for Shakos.
That's going to massively hand the advantage to Liam Walder. Shakos is also going on to the hards.
Interesting. I know Giannuzzi and Pyro, they're going to have to be sticking out to softs here.
That's just completely hand the win to Liam Walder here. Unless something drastic happens, Liam Walder's going to come out not far behind, if behind at all, because Shakos is just coming out the pits now. He is going to be ahead of the McLaren, but only just. Well, see, Liam with a switchback gets his way through, so Liam Border is in the net race lead, and Shakos has that 5-second time penalty.
Yeah, Electro Saunders. Electro Saunders actually had another spin, and that's tech support lapping him now. So yeah, so Shakos has still got 5 seconds worth of time penalties and is now behind Liam Boulder, who is on very similar age tyres, but critically they're warm and toasty, which is going to allow him to get a lot superior grip around the circuit. And Electric Saunders ran again.
Again.
I think it's time to get off those tyres.
Overheating tyres.
Yeah,
I think they're just overheating now for him, and also probably he might be suffering from a bit of a skill issue as well.
If you want to put it that way. So still Teeks and Petaflat still so close to each other on the track. Giannuzzi and Pyro still very close to each other, and it looks like Pyro might be perhaps trying to go for a move on Giannuzzi, although he's still not close enough. Giannuzzi's just able to fend Pyro off and actually hasn't lost any of his ERS, whereas Pyro's down 10%, which tells me that Giannuzzi's actually faster at this stage of the race, or is just having some better ERS management and using it in the right places compared to Pyro. It could just be down to that entirely, of course. We'll have to wait and see. Teeks and Petaflat, these guys are going to be fighting.
Power GT's now spared in the pit lane as well.
Power GT, no.
Driver is now spared as well. Or it's so about getting a speeding penalty. So you can't even serve it. You have to if you want to get rid of it, you have to do another stop.
Yeah, which is the thing that's a real shame for Shakos. The undercut worked really nicely for Liam.
The softs.
Yeah, early softs. I mean, he's going to go, what, 13 laps on those? We'll see when Giannuzzi and Pyro come in. I think they both seem to be saving a bit of ERS, so I'd assume that they'd be pushing a little bit harder. They're probably going to actually come out quite a way behind Liam Broader and Shakos, as they were a long ways behind anyway. But it'll be interesting to see if they can catch up towards the end of the race. So then, Shakos has broken back into the DRS of Liam Broader, whereas Sweatback Flame, just behind them, has, well, I say just behind, 7.5 seconds behind them, has managed to close in to Frosted Cheese. All closed in and overtake Frosted Cheese then. So Frosted Cheese relinquishes that P8 after, well, he hasn't actually made a stop yet. So plenty of work for Frosted Cheese to do when he makes a pit stop, as there goes my phone off my desk.
That's not ideal.
Less than optimal. Suboptimal, as Liam Wilder gets ahead of tech support, and this is crucial for the race lead battle. Shakos stuck behind tech support for another lap, which is going to mean that Liam's going to be able to get a massive advantage, especially as we're now in the middle sector, which is full of some quite technical corners that require a lot of open space to take fast and are quite tricky to get ahead of. But here goes Shakos to the inside of tech support. Tech support doesn't fight that one too hard, and Shakos is through, but is critically a second behind Liam Wilder. It looks like Power GT now going ahead of Teeks then. He's sort of getting involved in the Petaflat Teeks fight. He goes behind the sister car, pulls to the right hand side, and with some DRS he's going to go round the outside. Is he going to make it stick? It looks like he will with the superior grip of those fresh soft compound tyres. He's through into P13. So yeah, all of the guys who haven't stopped yet seem to be in, and it's going to be for fresh softs. Yeah, Pyro softs. Giannuzzi. Hard! Giannuzzi's gone hard! That's a mistake. That has to be a mistake.
What did he say?
Giannuzzi. Oh, Giannuzzi's gone hard. Yeah, that's a mistake from Giannuzzi. He's going to be pretty annoyed at himself and hoping for a safety car. And it's pretty much inevitable that Pyro's going to get ahead of him and possibly take that podium away. Oh, no for Giannuzzi.
There will be a stage where it swings. There will be that stage where it swings to be advantageous for Giannuzzi. With less worn tyres.
But just how much slower will those hards be off the start, and will he be able to close that gap in? That's the thing that he needs to be wary of, and we need to keep an eye on as well. Shakos now only half a second away from Liam Wilder, but that 5-second penalty is looking ominous for Shakos there. I don't think the game can make a mistake like that when it comes to pit lane speed. So I think Shakos is getting that penalty slam, dunk. They're also actually pretty close on ERS. Only 13% difference between them. It's now a 0.3 of a second gap between Liam Wilder and Shakos. Shakos pulls to the inside of the McLaren and makes his way through into P1. Shakos leads the race then with 11 laps to go, but a 5-second time penalty to his name as Frosted Cheese is finally into the pit lane. And then look at that, Pyro already ahead of Giannuzzi. That's just the speed difference between the softs and the hards, and it's going to be interesting to see if that lasts for the rest of the race, or just how long it is before those softs start to go off for Pyro. So, actually, I believe, who started on the softs? Was it Luke the Blade?
Yeah, and Electro Saunders.
How long were they able to go on their tyres? So I can't quite remember.
I can check.
There's Jack Imac also ahead.
Pitted on lap 7. Luke the Blade pitted lap 12, Electro Saunders lap 7, off the softs. Okay, so those tyres, especially with these lower fuel loads, it's probably going to be an extra lap where they'll be comfortable with. So I think Pyro is definitely going to be able to get to the end very comfortably. Yeah.
But Giannuzzi will be faster towards the final few laps, let's put it that way. Frosted Cheese picks up 3 seconds.
That DRS window. Pyro's opened up that DRS window, so Giannuzzi's not going to get the DRS.
No, it's 1.5 seconds in fact, so a rather large. Oh my goodness! It's only like 7:30. A rather large window that's opened up between those two. And yeah, Liam Wilder.
You're still yawning.
I know, it doesn't matter what time it is. Even when I wake up, I'm yawning. It doesn't really matter for me. I'm always yawning. Right, Luke the Blade is right on the back of Fuzzle, who I think is, well, I'd say he hasn't quite just come out of the pit lane, but is going to be under pressure from the 10-lap-old mediums that Luke the Blade's got on. So Luke the Blade's sort of doing a bit of a reverse strategy to what a lot of the guys that we see on softs are doing right now. I'm sure. Well, I think what's going to be important to us is when Unitos comes into the pit lane. That's going to be our best gauge of how long those tyres survive and actually how fast he is right now compared to fresh medium runners or medium runners his kind of age tyres like Luke the Blade. Obviously, I'd expect the mediums to be a bit quicker at this stage.
A bit of time to tech support. He's losing quite a bit of time to tech support ahead of him. The tech support's tyres are 7 laps fresher.
And softs. Which is rather critical, and I'm sure Luke the Blade will be overtaken in not too long. Of course, he's going to be going to the end of the race on some slightly older tyres after starting on the softs, so it will be interesting to see what happens there between those two. And I'm sure there'll be a great battle as well. Liam Wilder is still within a second of Shakos, and they're both on extremely similar amounts of ERS, which I think is going to be concerning to Shakos. I see Liam seems to be a bit more comfortable on these harder tyres. Looks like Jack Imac and Giannucci are going to be fighting away. Then Jack Imac going to try to go round the outside of the Tier 2 champion. Tier 2 champ versus the Tier 1 champion. Who's going to succeed? Jack Imac almost looks to the inside as they come through turn 7. And through turn 8, he unfortunately has to back out of that one. That yellow flag is for Frost Jay-Z, I think. Is that Jay-Z just coming out of the pit lane? Yeah, just out of the pit lane for Jay-Z. Giannucci defends and blocks Jack Imac from getting anywhere near round the outside of the track. And unfortunately, Jack is going to have to stay back. I think he'll probably get him down the DRS zone in the straight. But he's going to have to wait a little bit before he can get ahead. And that's going to hamper Jack Imac's progress to perhaps starting to attack Pyro, who himself is going to be getting up to Sweatback Flame next lap. Only a second separates those two at the moment, and Pyro will definitely make that up, although he's out of ERS. He's used all of his battery. And here we go then, Jack Imac to the inside of Giannucci, very close to some contact. Who's that round up? Sweatback Flame! Sweatback Flame's gone round in the McLaren, he's spun round at turn 1. Well, that's handed the position up to Pyro.
But Pyro won't get the DRS next time around, which he probably would have done otherwise.
No, and Jack Imac is closing into him as well.
Yeah.
I can't know if Jack gets a podium here. He'll probably be the driver of the day. He's had a great old drive out there. Plenty of overtakes. I mean, we can put...
Jack.
That is also true.
It's not impressive anymore because he's Jack Imac.
It's not impressive because he's Jack. Well, that's like saying Verstappen winning a title isn't impressive. You know, just because you're good does...
It's not shocking anymore when he wins from last.
Well, he's got 14 seconds to catch up. I don't think he's going to be quite fast enough to get ahead of Liam, but he might to Shakos, depending on what that gap is.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's just hired a hitman to just wipe them both out.
Is that what Jay-Z and Electro Saunders are doing back there? They're just hitmanning, ready to take someone out. But Jack Imac is actually inside the DRS of Pyro, who has got no defence and he's got no one to attack. He's got no ERS to defend with. He's got 8%. That's concerningly low, I think, for Pyro. And he's going to really struggle, I think, to defend from Jack Imac. Although Jack doesn't seem to be too much faster this stage. Looks like Jay-Z picking up a 3-second penalty for exceeding track limits, and that gap between Liam Wilder and Shakos is growing ever so slightly. I think a little further back there goes tech support down the inside of Sweatback Flame, who on the harder tyres seems to be drowning a little bit here. We got a yellow in sector 1. That's Jay-Z.
Oh no, it's Frosted Cheese.
Frosted Cheese is round.
No, it's Frosted Cheese.
Yeah, outside turn 4. We apologise to Jay-Z there, and that has allowed Om up into P11. I would say Om start to hunt after the points, But on some older hards, I'm not sure he's going to quite be able to get any points unless we see a later DNF with only a few laps to go. About 6 laps to go in the session. And this is where the battle's going to be. Pyro versus Jack Imac around the final corner. Jack goes a little wider to carry some extra speed. He uses that straight line speed advantage to go to the inside of Pyro with DRS, with ERS, with better pace. Jack Imac takes P3 away, but he does have a 3-second time penalty that Pyro can work with. And we'll just see if Jack is quick enough to break that time penalty difference between Pyro. If there is a safety car a little later on, like 3 laps from the end, my goodness, we could see Jack Pyro on the podium and Jack falling down the order quite significantly, actually.
If there's a late safety car, the provisional order would be Liam Ward, Pyro, and then Giannuzzi.
Yeah.
Because Jack and Shackles would drop back with their penalties. And then that would be Frosty got a penalty. And he's also behind Frosty Cheese now.
Oh,
And he was also going straight on into turn 3 or 4 or wherever that is. The yellow flag, Electro Saunders gone off again.
having a nice little spin. Was Electro Saunders
I just
there?
saw an Aston Martin and the yellow flag, and I assumed it was him, but I don't know if it was just Jack Imac, and I shrugged it off as Electro Saunders.
Poor Jack. He's just trying to do his job out front. And yeah, that gap's now grown to 2 seconds. So it's a very slowly increasing gap, actually, between Liam Buwalda and Shakos. But I don't quite see it being enough, unless Liam makes a pretty big mistake, for Shakos to take a victory here with that 5-second pit lane speeding penalty. So
Liam Buwalda does have 2 warnings, so if he just goes outside the white lines once more, then that will hand it to Shakos. With that 2-second window,
yeah,
Liam gets a 3-second penalty, Shakos will win. And
yeah.
so Liam, in the next 5 laps, can't go outside of those white lines once.
Yeah, otherwise it's all does for him. And here's a battle we've been seeing the whole race. Petaflat versus Teeks. These two, I swear, have literally been fighting since lap 1. Oh my goodness, a bit of contact. Well, close enough.
Teeks was a bit higher up, and then there was the incident with Electro Saunders and Jay-Z, and that brought them to the same place.
Yeah, at that same place they've stayed pretty much for the rest of the race, and they're still squabbling away for P13 and 14 in the penultimate round here in XLR.
Not quite last. Not last, but around that point. They definitely pitched on the same lap as well.
And here's a battle for last between Electro Saunders and Jay-Z. These two are now fighting away for P17 and 18. Very important positions in the race. I think Electro Saunders is like a minute and 8 seconds behind Zach is Beast. Jay-Z ghosting away as he's just chopped off the corner a little bit.
He's almost a lap behind Zach is Beast.
Yeah, less than ideal, I think.
Zach is Beast is about 3 corners behind.
Yeah, it's not been a good race for these two. I think drive-throughs, early stops, front wing changes. It's just been a bit of a stinker and one to forget. But fair play for them for sticking it out, actually. It's very difficult to often do that. As here we go, Jay-Z to the outside of Electro Saunders with P17. Although Electro Saunders is still going to be on the inside, I think some ghosting is going to help these two. As oh my goodness, the ghosting has made them go inside of each other. There's Jay-Z. They're literally fighting like Power GT isn't even there. Or is that Una that's there? That's Una lapping them. Literally fighting like Una is not there. It's hilarious to watch. Look at how deep on the brakes that Electro Saunders goes, but look at the exit difference. Actually, you know what?
How the gap is now 3 seconds.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Talking about at the back.
This is the more important fight.
Kept some pace in reserve, just to push away and try to pull away at the end. He's now up to 3 seconds. So if he can pull 2 seconds, or if Liam gets a time penalty, then Shakos will have managed to still win it. I think Jay-Z's gone off. No, it's Frosty Cheese. Never mind.
Is indeed. He has managed to get it back,
So
facing the right way.
12 has dropped behind Arm again.
Go on.
He's 11 seconds behind Power GT. I doubt he's doing anything.
I mean, you don't know if Power GT has like a surprise explosion in the car. Om could get some points here.
Surprise Ferrari engine.
Yeah, in the AlphaTauri. Jay-Z picking up another 3-second time penalty. I think that battle is, fair to say, less important than the leading fight. And
It's not a 3.5.
it's four tenths a lap.
Yeah.
It's going to be close. It's going to be really close.
Reeling in Liam Border.
Oh, yellow in sector 2. Is that
Jay-Z's
Frosted Cheese or
got
Jay-Z? Jay-Z.
And Pyro's kept within 3 seconds of Jack, just about. So these gaps are going to be interesting come the end of the race. And look at Shackles has pulled like another 10th or 2 just in the first sector.
It's going to be really tight. It's going to be really tight between Shackles and Liam, Jack and Pyro. It's going to come down to hundredths or possibly even thousandths. I'm not sure how many warnings is Shackles on at the moment. This could be a big determinant. Ooh, that's looking good for Shackles then, but it's very, very, very easy to slip up. Ooh, it's 2 for
Shackles, 2 warnings for Liam.
Oh, it's just so close. Shackles looks like he's pulled only 2 tenths so far on this lap, but he might just be really strong in that third sector. So Liam needs to make sure he drives cleanly, but also really fast. It's a very difficult.
No, Liam just needs to not drive slowly. He doesn't need to drive quickly. He needs to not drive slowly. Shackles needs to drive quickly. So the gap's now at 3.8. So it is another tenths.
So
at this rate,
it's going to be really close.
It will be 4.6 at the end of this rate.
Yeah.
So
Jay-Z with another
Shackles
penalty.
needs a bit more.
Yeah. Tech Support and Fuzzle seem to be roughly within DRS range of each other. So of course, Tech Support with that penalty, Fuzzle's probably going to get him anyway. So although he does need to be a little careful that he doesn't take anyone out during their little fight. Otherwise, that could be rather disastrous. Om is under a bit of pressure from Frosted Cheese then. I think those hards really not behaving themselves here on lap 15. So I don't think they're doing so hot for Om, but we are on the penultimate lap. I don't think actually Om has
4 seconds now.
Let's just see how far.
Really
Om is 56 seconds away from the leader, so I doubt he's actually going to get lapped. As there's Frosted Cheese coming to the outside, although Om's still there on the inside, close to contact, and Om picks up a 3-second penalty. Unfortunate for Om.
It's now 4 seconds, so I'm just trying to work it out. I think
this needs a second. This last lap.
It's now 4.2. It's still not enough, but no, it's going to be really close. Shackles has gained 8 tenths on this final lap, and he knows that. So I think he's just going to go full push. If he goes out the white lines, then he would have dropped back anyway. Or he pulls out a really good final lap and wins the race.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to be thinking, what we're going to be thinking as well. And let's see who can take that victory. It's all going to be based on these gaps, and that's no, Om's round. Oh, poor Om.
I'm so depressed.
It's because I am. I want to see Om. I really want to see Om do well.
It's now 4.5 seconds at the front, so it needs to be like half a second in the final sector, which does appear to be Shack's strongest sector comparative to Liam Ward.
Liam's. I don't think Liam's going to. Is Liam going to run out of fuel though? He's red blinking.
I don't think so.
He's really close.
That just means he has less than 1 lap, I think. 4.6. It's not going to be enough for Shackles, I don't think.
So then Shackles, with a stunning drive, looks like he's going to cross the line first and take the checkered flag. But Liam Buwalda, 4.8 seconds back, is going to take victory here in XLR. Jack Imac, I think, is going to just about get Pyro by 2 tenths of a second, 3 tenths on the line. Jack Imac finishes on the podium, Shackles in P2, and Liam Buwalda is your Portuguese Grand Prix winner with Giannuzzi with Pyro P4, Giannuzzi P5, Tech Support going to be finishing out in P7 with Fuzzle in P6. Luke the Blade looks like he's going to finish in P8 with P9 belonging to Sweatback
Battle's
Flame.
still continuing.
Power GT.
The battle at the back still going.
Oh my goodness.
That's not the best part. They're still battling.
Power GT takes P10.
Oh! Jay-Z just straight.
Oh!
Just went flat out into him. Considering they're both gonna be last anyway, I don't think they're gonna care too much.
I wouldn't put any consequence on either one of their shoulders for that.
I mean, it was Jay-Z's fault no matter what.
That's it. I mean, to be fair, because
lost literally nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It hasn't lost them anything, so I would say don't, bother stressing about it.
Yeah.
But we'll see what the stewards say. The stewards might say differently. I think if that would have happened on a different lap, apart from the final lap, we would have seen some very decisive steward action for Jay-Z. But it was the final lap. So then, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody for watching the stream today. I do hope you enjoy. Yeah, to be honest, it sort of felt a bit like the sprint yesterday. Apart from the first few laps, not all that much actually happened. So a big thanks to everybody for watching the race today. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly had a decent bit of fun commentating over that race. Numi, I hope you enjoyed watching in the race. I'm still rather disappointed in him. On to next race for So big thank you to everybody for watching, and I do hope you enjoy the real life Grand Prix. Let us bring on round 18 and the last round of the season for XLR next weekend. Have a good rest of your week, ladies and gentlemen, and good night.